Okay, for those who seem to think that Trump's lies and Vance's lies about the hurricane, Ron DeSantis, and all of them, if you think that their lies don't have consequences, well, there was a gentleman who was arrested for threatening FEMA workers because of lies being told about FEMA. So let's just get to the article. Witness saw an armed group harassing Helene aid workers in a small Tennessee town, sheriff says. Okay. Witnesses reported seeing a group of armed people harassing hurricane relief workers in a remote Tennessee community last weekend, a sheriff said Wednesday, as a man in North Carolina appeared in court for allegedly threatening aid workers in that state. Although there's no indication that the incidents are related, they come with the Federal Emergency Management Agency facing rampant disinformation about its response to Hurricane Helene, which came ashore in Florida on September 26th, before heading north and leaving a trail of destruction across 6 states. Reports of threats to aid workers sparked a temporary shift in how FEMA was operating in western North Carolina. And the way it changed was, instead of going door to door, they had a fixed location. So it just makes it harder for people to get the aid that they need, because they might not even know to go to that fixed location. In Tennessee, Carter County Sheriff Mike Farley said that witnesses reported Saturday that FEMA workers were being harassed by a small group of armed people in the remote community of Elk Mills, not far from the North Carolina border. No arrests were made, but Farley said that the people who showed up were looking to cause trouble. It was a little hairy situation. No guns were drawn, but they were armed, Farley told the Associated Press. Farley said his department was setting up a 24-hour command post in Elk Mills because of what happened. The region is still largely cut off from the rest of the state because Helene damaged and destroyed many bridges and roads. The community in that area has been great to work with, but this group is trying to create more hate toward the federal government, Farley said. Over the weekend, reports emerged that FEMA workers aiding the Helene efforts could be targeted by a militia, but authorities later said they believed that a man who was arrested and accused of making threats acted alone. FEMA has said operational changes were made to keep personnel safe out of an abundance of caution, but workers were back in the field Monday. Helene's arrival 3 weeks ago in the southeast decimated remote towns throughout Appalachia and killed at least 246 people, with a little over half of the storm-related deaths in North Carolina. On Tuesday, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper said that a task force that has taken calls from concerned loved ones throughout the storm's aftermath still has a working list of approximately 90 people who haven't been accounted for. William Parsons, the man accused of making the threats in North Carolina, said he believed social media reports that FEMA was refusing to help people, but that he realized that wasn't the case when he arrived in hard-hit Lake Lure, a small community about 25 miles or 40 kilometers southeast of Asheville. Well, apparently he didn't realize it soon enough if the dumbass got himself arrested. During a phone interview with WGHP-TV, the 44-year-old Parsons read aloud a social media post he made that said, "We the people were looking for volunteers on Saturday to overtake the FEMA site in Lake Lure and send the products up the mountains." Parsons of Bostic explained that he believed FEMA was withholding supplies and that his post was a call to action, not violence. So we were going to go up there and forcefully remove that fence, he said, but he found a different situation than he expected in Lake Lure. He said he wound up volunteering that day in the relief effort, but law enforcement officers cast doubt on that claim Wednesday. Captain Jamie Keever of the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office said in an email Wednesday that a soldier called 911 on Saturday after someone overheard Parsons making a comment that he was going after FEMA and was not afraid of law enforcement or soldiers. Keever said Parsons was arrested at a Lake Lure grocery store that was a site for a FEMA bus and a donation site for relief efforts. It does not appear Parsons was involved in any relief efforts at the time, and if so, why was he armed, Keever said. I think based off of his statement, he was prepared to take action with his firearms and take the donations. Parsons had an AR-style rifle and 2 handguns, according to the arrest warrant. Yes, it's exactly what you do when you're just wanting a call to action, not a call to violence. You arm yourself to the teeth. That's totally how this works. Sheriff's officials said Parsons was charged with going armed to the terror of the public, a misdemeanor, and released after posting bond. The sheriff's office said initial reports indicated that a truckload of militia was involved in making the threat, but further investigation determined that Parsons acted alone. Parsons told WGHP-TV that he had a legally owned gun on his hip and his legally owned rifle and pistol in his vehicle. A public defender was appointed for Parsons during a court appearance Wednesday, WYFF-TV reported. The public defender's office didn't immediately respond to a call seeking comment. Right, because, again, that's how you go to help out FEMA, is you come armed. So, maybe he did, get there and realize that FEMA was actually helping. Or maybe that's just a lie he's saying after the fact because he got caught. And now he's trying to wiggle his way out of the fact that he got duped into believing stupid shit. FEMA is helping, and they're not withholding supplies. I mean, what's the point of FEMA being there? They're just going to dangle supplies in front of people and say, hey, you want some of this? Too bad you can't have it. Seriously. The worst thing that this guy can be accused of is not believing a social media post. It's not thinking this damn thing through. Why would FEMA be there if they aren't there to help people? And there's also a stupid fucking lie that says that FEMA is going to take your houses and mine for lithium. Because apparently lithium is everywhere in North Carolina. What the hell? This is why you don't lie about this shit, especially if you want to be a political figure. If you want to actually be in a position where you have the power to help people, why would you cause this chaos? What, you think that if people don't believe that FEMA is there to help and threaten people, that somehow that'll make Joe Biden and Kamala Harris look bad? I mean, they're not the ones who sent the armed people to attack FEMA because they're assholes and idiots. So, seriously, what is the point except just simply chaos? You're just making people who are desperate for help more desperate. I read a story about someone whose father-in-law wants them to help him recover from the hurricane, even though they live miles away and can't actually get there, because he believes Donald Trump. He believes that FEMA is there to take his house. And so he refuses their help. And as much as it pains me to say, I hope that this person understands that if he's going to believe Trump over FEMA, then he doesn't really want help. So nobody should help him, because that is the only way it's going to get through his thick skull that he's being a complete tool. I mean, I don't know how else to get through to people like that, unless they're in a circumstance where they're desperate enough that they might as well try actually getting the help that's being offered. Because how else are they going to realize that they were duped? I realize, and I mentioned this yesterday, that Trump, at this point, if you're still voting for Trump and you think he can do no wrong, you're in a freaking cult. So I realize that getting people out of it is hard. But unfortunately, the best way to do that is not to try to reason with them, because it wasn't reason that got them into the freaking cult to begin with. You can't reason someone out of what they didn't use reason to get themselves into. No, you just have to wait for them to hit rock bottom, just like an addiction. They have to find out for themselves that this is a bad situation, and your savior, the person that you are putting literally your life in their hands, doesn't give a damn about you and isn't going to help you. And isn't helping you by telling you that the people who are there to help are actually not there to help. Because I just don't know what else to do. If you're that caught up in a cult that you refuse help that is being freely given because you think that there's a lithium mine under your damn house, then I just don't know how to convince you, because I would love to have experts come and show that there's no lithium under your house, but I don't know if he would believe that, because he obviously only believes Donald Trump and only Donald Trump. So there's absolutely nothing you can do in that situation. And it's the same thing here. Whether this guy actually realized that he made a mistake or he's just trying to get out of trouble, I don't know. But I would like to think that he got there, probably made threats, and then realized after the fact that, oh, these people are actually helping. But by then it was too late, because his dumb butt got himself arrested. But I don't know what else to do. I don't know how to convince people like that these are lies. Because I just get, well, why are people complaining? Number one, have you met people? I mean, they'll complain about anything, anywhere. Even if they seemingly don't have a care in the world, they're going to fucking complain. Number two, we have people like this goober who actually believes the lies and is actively working against the very people who are trying to help. So if they can't get help to the people in need, of course they're not going to be getting the help. Duh. And then, of course, there's the, well, you're not helping us fast enough, as if you just snap your fingers and everything gets back to normal, which is not the way it works. I mean, obviously, the longer it takes, the more dire your circumstances. I get that. But this was a big ass hurricane. It's not like everything is going to go back to normal tomorrow. It's going to take time. So, yeah, people are going to complain. People are going to complain about the speed of the help. People are going to complain about wondering if help is coming at all, depending on where they are in the situation. People like to complain because people want their stuff back to normal yesterday. Which I get it, but at the same time, not realistic. So that is not an excuse to have Trump and his goons lie about the hurricane response because people complain. No, people complain because that's just the way people are. They complain. They will complain no matter what. So, yeah, that is not an excuse to put out lies. Not an excuse at all. Unless, of course, you're in the cult and you refuse to accept that Trump might actually be actively trying to harm people. Not just the Biden administration, but actively harm the people who were affected by the hurricane. Because he might be using their harm in order to harm the Biden administration. But the fact still remains that tells you he doesn't give a rat's ass about the people who were affected. He only cares that he can use their suffering to go after the Biden administration and Kamala Harris. Not because he actually cares about these people. And if you can't understand that, you're deeply in a cult, and nothing I can say is going to make you change your mind. Anyway, that is all I have for that article. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.